Hello and welcome back to VBA to Z. I'm Lung Pamay, and in this video I'll be showing you step by step on how to use a TreeView control. If you've missed our prior videos, please find them from Professional UI/UX playlist. As always, project files and source codes are free for download and use. The only request from you is to support my channel so I can keep sharing all these useful videos. So before we begin, please do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for upcoming videos. Let me quickly show you one of the small utility I built in for Excel where you can use the tool to display the formula in a TreeView. For example, here it's a small form and the top portion is a text box, and here is a TreeView. If I click on the cell, which is a formula, and then I load the formula up into the TreeView, it shows me the formula itself, the value it's looking up. It highlights the cell itself where it's doing the lookup, and then once I select the array table, it highlights from where it's doing the lookup and then the index and so on. So similarly, like formulas like offset, it's really difficult to pinpoint from where it's doing the, like the sum, for example. It's a sum and then here's the offset. So for example, you can use a tool like this to break down or see in the TreeView how they are arriving at the final number. Okay, so this is a small example of where you can utilize a TreeView. In the first part of the video, I'm going to show you how to use the TreeView control. You'll learn how to add parent node, child node, with a relationship, add a checkbox, add an icon, different display methods and so on. And then in the second part, I'm going to show you how to load a huge data dump, in a matter of seconds to the TreeView. So let's get started. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to insert UserForm. I'm gonna drag this bigger like this. Now first add a TreeView. So if you do not see this TreeView control, this is how it looks like. If you do not see it, go to your additional controls and then look for Microsoft TreeView control. Check this box and click on OK. So once you have this, you draw this somewhere here like this, and then press F4. You should be able to see all the properties, the appearance here. You can make it flat or you can leave it as default. The font, the border style, all this can be changed from here. You can allow the users to manually edit the labels. You could change the list style. If you change this, you should be able to see the preview of that. Okay, so you change all this as per your requirement, and all this can be changed from from the code as well. Let's get into it. First, what I'll do now is I'll make a small, maybe a table, just so that maybe it will choose this country as the lesser state. So I'm gonna copy this. I'll add the data here like this. So for now, I'll just get rid of all this data. Okay, so one country with all the the states within it. Okay. So first we'll add a parent called Hungary, and then we'll add all the states within it. Going back here, just close the properties for now, and let's add one button here just to load this data. Okay, or let's call this parent, add parent, something like this. And here, so referring to the TreeView again means the UserForm TreeView1 dot nodes dot. We'll use the add method here. So nodes basically are the ones that we've just seen now. All these are nodes that you see here, all the sample nodes. Okay, so going back here, dot add, and then here the relative relationship is going to be blank because this is a parent. This is the first node we're adding. It does not have it cannot relate to anyone yet or any item yet. So the key here is always has unique. So you can add for now we'll say A2. A2 is what we want to have it as a parent, and then the text that we want to display is also going to be A2, and the image, we have seen this from previous video. It's exactly the same method. You have to load it up to the image view first, and then you have to link it by index or by the name of the image here. Okay, now I'm gonna load this up and click on add, so you can see this value is being added here. Okay, now going back here, we can also change certain properties of this TreeView. So we can see view, and then now the appearance could be, we already changed it to flat. We can change, we can add the checkboxes. Then line style, let's have it at root, like this. Let's see. Okay, so now we don't have any child yet, so we're not able to see it. Now let's add another button. We'll call this add children or child, whatever. And here we'll just replicate the same code, but this time we'll add this relationship. So instead of leaving this like the parent key blind, the relative, we'll just say that A2 is the relative, and then the relationship is going to be so if you list the properties here, so TVW, and then this is the member that you can use, the child. Okay, so here the relative is A2, and then we want B2 to be the children. Okay, again, remember that the key has to be unique. So let's try this and see if it works. Child. Okay, just give me 1 second. Let's call this dot text, also value, maybe something like this. Okay, maybe that was it. Okay, so here's the parent node, and here's the child node. Let's loop through and then add this instead of like, let's say 2 to 25. Okay, so we'll quickly see dim, just quickly loop through from row number 2 till 25, like this. And then this will remain static because the parent node is going to be A2 value, and instead of B2 value, we'll say cells, and then it's going to be I, and then column 2, and then I is going to change every time this loops through. Dot value. Okay, so let's try this. Okay, so every time this is being added, will clear as well. Okay, no, it's not clear. We'll clear the values that is existing. Let's try this and then add. So it added all the all the states within the country Hungary in this fashion. Okay, so this is how you're gonna do it. Again, you know how to now enable the checkboxes and then change the appearance, the line style. All this could be like changed on runtime. So just if we do just a very quick example of 2 combo box, and then here we say if we want to see how it looks like, the appearance. So we'll just make this, the first one is, we'll just say the appearance to flat, and then first set the value to 3D, and then we'll call this like this. So I'll load this now, and then this is 3D, and then this is flat. Okay, so you can do that in that fashion. What else? We could add a checkbox. So here I can just say that whenever this is checked, I'll say the checkbox will be based on the checkbox if it is clicked or not. For example, like this. Load this. So if I check this box, uncheck this, it shows like without the checkbox. So this is how it's gonna look without the checkbox. And maybe we can also do like the line style. So here, since this is about the appearance, we'll move this under 1 frame so that like the other option button still works, like this, and we'll call this to appearance, something like this. Yeah, and now we'll add 1 more frame, or first let's add 2 options button, and we'll call this so first dot line style. First will be the tree, and then for the second one we can add the root like this. Okay, so root and then something like this. So again, add the appearance, I mean the frame, and then we'll move it here. Okay, and then we'll call this line style like this. Okay, now let's see if it works. Okay, this can be automatically expanded as well. So if I uncheck this, okay, so flat 3D line style, you know, like to root. So here shows the root, and then it just shows a line, you know, like to the parent without showing the root. Okay. Now let's say that you want to loop through each item, and then if the item is checked, you want to do a certain thing. So let's say that you have a list box here, or this could be to the range. You could write this value to Excel as well. But for now, let's say that whatever item is checked, we want to move it here to this list box. We'll add one more button here. We'll say copy to list box or something like this. Okay, so here again we're just gonna loop through, but then instead of looping from you know, like we'll loop from the, you know, like the count of the TreeView nodes from the bottom to up, for an example. I will say just get rid of this. Dot count to 1, okay, and then step -1. So from, you know, like total count of the TreeView nodes to 1 is going to loop, and then it's going to go like one step up. Okay, and now here we can say again, we'll just get this syntax, and then we'll say if, you know, like when it's looping the index of that, if this particular is checked, we'll say that we'll just move this item to list box. We'll say, and then whatever was checked at that time, dot, you know, like whatever the text of that particular control was. Again, you can, you know, like get the key as well in the same fashion, and then as well as the index as well. So all these, you know, items are going to be useful when you have to manipulate things within the TreeView. Okay, so let's give it a try. Now let's say that this tree, I mean 4 of them is checked. Now let's try to copy this. So whatever was, you know, I checked is copied here. You can see the text, you can see the index, and then you can see the key. Okay, the key and then the text is the same, so it's repeating twice there. Yeah. Now whenever you click on this, let's say that you want to return whatever is being clicked, you can also use this event called click. Now let's add a couple of text box just for this purpose. So I'll add 3 check text box. We'll just quickly change the appearance to like this. So this is check text box 1, 2, and 3. So here we can say so first we're gonna add the value to text box 1. We'll say value is equal to, and then we'll add a TreeView, whatever is selected at that point of time. So we will use this method, selected item dot text. Okay, like this. And then in the text box 2 we'll show the key, and then in the text box 3, whatever item is selected will show the we can show the index as well, like this. Let's try. So if you look here, Budapest, and here you can see the key, the text, and then the index. So 1, 2 is the index. This 3, and so on. Okay, this is how you can read the selected item at that point of time as well. Okay, now let's quickly add one more item to remove the item. Let's say that you want to remove whatever is selected at that point of time. Remove node or something like this. Again, these are all demonstration. You can like play more and get more idea around this. Now for this one, we'll say that whatever is selected, right? So TreeView one dot nodes, and then we'll use this method remove, and then here we'll specify the index. Okay, so here we'll say me dot, we already know this, selected item dot index. So simple as that. Let's give it a try. Now let's say we want to remove this, we'll just select this and then remove, so it removed that item. So you can use that as well to remove an item. Now coming to the second part of our video, I'm going to quickly show you how to load this particular table here to the TreeView. So if you look here, it is around 15,000 rows of data, and overall the cells count is around 92,000. Instead of looping through each cell and identifying the like the relationship and then adding them to the TreeView, is going to take a lot of time. So the method that I'm going to show it to you now is going to be very efficient and really fast. So what I'm going to do now is, like, the background is to dump, like just to put all this data set into the memory using an array, and then from there we're going to further use like the scripting dictionary, basically just to identify on runtime if element exists, and then with that we will ensure that like only the unique items are being added as the parent, and then like all the unique items again will be added to the respective countries. Yeah, so going back to our form here, I'm gonna resize this away for a bit, replicate one more button here, and we'll call this load from worksheet, like this, load from sheet. Yeah, so when I click on this, I'll just get rid of the prior code here. I'm gonna basically just copy this code, just the initial part. Yeah, so here the appearance and everything we want, like the clearing and everything, we want the view to remain as it is. Now instead of like calling it from here, we'll call like a new program that we'll write now. So I'll insert a new module, and here we'll first declare a public variable. Let's call this countries data, something like this, as variant. Okay, and then we'll start writing our sub procedure. Let's call this load TreeView data, something like this. And then first we'll assign a value here. So we'll say this is equal to range, like we'll load all the data from second row from A2 till this particular, the end cell. So we'll say range, and then within this we'll say A2 is to this. Okay, so if I run this now and just look at this, you'll see that it has loaded the entire data set to the memory. Okay, so this is the last cell, the last row, so North America, and then this is the city. So if I go to the bottom cell, the first cell is North America, and then this is the city. Now if we go to the first, Tokyo, Asia, Japan, right, you'll see Asia, so this is the first like row. So you can just picture in your mind how this array table is going to look like, in the same how you look here, in the same fashion. Okay, so now this is not going to do as such. Now we're going to start using scripting dictionary. So first of all, you go to your reference and make sure that you have this Microsoft Scripting runtime check. So this is for early binding. If you want to use like late binding, you can replace scripting runtime with object as well. That should be fine. Start off, we'll call this as scripting dictionary. Okay, and then we'll say maybe the key is variant. Now we'll set up our dictionary. Now we'll say set this equal to, and then we'll create an object like we did in our videos. Just copy this. Okay, so now we have declared the the object, and then we set the set it up, and then now we are ready to start using this dictionary. Okay, here we want to start looping through this array table. So we'll say dim maybe I array or array index, something like that, as long. So we're gonna loop through the array. So we'll loop from one to, so ubound is gonna return like the maximum count, or like the total count of the array. Okay, so in the layman term, it's gonna be like the last row within the table. So we'll say just return us the upper bound of this particular array, and then now we're gonna go to this. Okay, now from here, once it loops, we want to check if the element exists in the dictionary. If not, we're gonna add an item to the dictionary, and then at the same time we are gonna add it to our TreeView. Okay, now if it exists, we don't want to re-add, so that to prevent duplication. If you look here, so column A is 1, column 1, C is column 3, and then this is 6F, right? Coming here, we'll start our validation now. First, the value we're interested in is the index at that point of time, and then the continent is in column 1, right? And then L case is basically gonna make whatever value is at that point of time to the lowercase. We'll use this to validate, okay, so that whatever we're adding is also in lowercase, and then whatever we're using on runtime is also lowercase. The data is going to be consistent. First, we're going to say if not, and then we'll start using our dictionary exists. Then here we'll just say this is our key, and then if it doesn't exist, then we'll say dictionary, we're gonna add, okay, and then the key and then the item. So we'll say this is our key, and then we can just leave this as like this. Okay, so basically this portion is going to validate if the name of that particular continent exists in the TreeView at that point of time. If it is not, then it's going to add it to the dictionary, and then at the same time it's going to add it to our TreeView. So if we go back to our TreeView that we created, let's quickly just copy this code so that we don't have to rewrite this part. I'm gonna copy this. Okay, now going back to our code. So here we're gonna add in this similar fashion. Okay, so now we can't use me here, so we'll have to, instead of me, it has to be UserForm, whatever the form we are in, and then UserForm 3, and then TreeView1 not add, and then here we'll say L case. No, we don't have to do the L case there, we want to put it as it is, and then we'll say now that this is the value we want to add. Okay, now this is continent, so we'll have to maybe we'll add first, we'll first add here we'll first add let's say the first one will be world, both the key and the text, like this. First will be the world, we'll add the world, and then we'll add all the continents to this, and then and so on. Here we'll say this is gonna be world, and here again we'll use the same child like this, and then this is gonna be the continent because this is coming from the first column. Okay, this should work. We can replicate the rest of the block very easily. Now let's try to run this and see if it works. So nothing happens. Okay, let me just get rid of this for now. Okay, we have not linked our code yet, that's the problem. Okay, so the world, and then we see all the continents from here, all the unique values are being added. So now let's quickly replicate these blocks for the country and the cities. Yeah, so this is for continent, this block, and then for country, and then for state. Now here The second part is the country, which is in third column. Okay, so here I'm going to say the validation again is going to be against the third column. If it doesn't exist, we're going to add that country to the dictionary. And then now instead of adding this to the world, we want to add it to the corresponding, like let's say that the code is looping down here like this, and then it finds Brazil, and then it's going to validate if Brazil exists in the dictionary. If not, it's going to add this as a child to the corresponding in array table in the first column. Okay, so going back here, all this value that we want to add is now from the third column, but we want to add it to as a child of the first column. Okay, that is the continent. Now similarly, if you come down here, this is going to be the sixth column. Similarly, the key and the text is going to be 6, and then this is going to be the child of whatever we added here. Okay, so when we're looping through here for the cities, let's say this is at that point of time, this is the burglar city, is going to identify Brazil as the parent. Okay, we're going to copy this. Instead of world, we're going to add this, and then here is going to be 6, all this value that we want to add. Okay, so if you look down here, the difference will be like this validation is for column 6, and whatever is the array index at that point of time. So array is looping from 1 till like the bottom of the table, for example. So now let's go back and see how it works. So this is again super quick. As you can see, that's added, as for the table here at the back, if you go here, Asia, so Asia and then Japan. So if I just expand Japan, you'll see like Tokyo, and then I can't filter on this now, but these are Osaka, like all these are Japanese cities, right? So this is one tip I wanted you to take away. If you're new to this is really powerful. You can use this for like in so many purposes. I'll definitely encourage you, if you're new, to try out this method in other program as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on the video below. I'll come back to you as soon as possible. And as always, I'm gonna leave this project for you to download and play around, and come back to me if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to come back to you as soon as possible. So that's all I have for you now in this video. Thank you so much again for tuning in and watching the video. Please leave a like if you found this informative, and we'll do more of these videos in coming days. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.